Hello, my name is Kirioth, and today we are going to do a quick follow-up on the video from last week, which was what is going on with Shadowspear. Because we now kind of know what is going on with Shadowspear. Sort of, mostly. I think we pretty much do know, in fairness. So, a brief recap of what that video was about, in case you don't want to go back and watch it, which is fine. Essentially, I got an email last week from a viewer sharing an email that a local store had got from Games Workshop, saying, take Shadowspear out of your database. Product is gone, remove it. Which was interesting and a little bit odd. So I went and looked at the Games Workshop web store, I looked at the Element Games site, and found that Shadowspear was out of stock across the board. Temporarily out of stock, but out of stock nonetheless. And on the Element Games site, it said that the next dispatch would be the 19th of April, I believe. And I didn't really know what to make of it, to be honest, because on the one hand, this kind of suggested, this email that the store received, that Shadowspear was either going away or they were not going to have access to it anymore, which meant either the set was being discontinued or it was maybe being made web store exclusive, something like that. Or perhaps maybe it was just a case of things in the box, like some of the rules and stuff, were being changed, and so it's removing one product ID, and then once they got the new version, there would be a new product ID. All kinds of possibilities, but I didn't know what to make of it, so I opened it up to you guys, and I was like, hey, anyone got any ideas as to what this could be, what this could mean? Anyone who owns or runs a third-party store, anything like that, let us know what's going on. Now, I didn't get any responses from store owners, but I did get an email from Lily, and it was a screenshot from a third-party retailer called the Outpost.co.uk. And I have gone and checked the page, and the screenshot and the page are exactly the same. Always worth checking. Not to cast aspersions, but, it's worth checking. So, on the Outpost.co.uk, in the description on the Shadowspear page, product page, it says, please read, this is a limited availability box set. There is a second print run on the way, however numbers are required in advance. If you wish to order this set, please do so in advance. Once the second print run is sold out, the set will be discontinued. So we have our answer. We know what's happening with Shadowspear. It is temporarily out of stock. It is temporarily unavailable. It will be available again, and then it will go away permanently. I mean, discontinued doesn't suggest that it's going to be web store exclusive for Games Workshop. It suggests that the Shadowspear box as a whole will just be gone. To be honest, I didn't realise it was a limited availability box. I thought it was going to stick around for quite some time. I mean, Forgebane was around for God knows how long. Wake the Dead wasn't around for that long. And Tooth and Claw, I guess. I mean, they didn't have the longevity that Forgebane did, but they were still around for, I think, a couple of months, maybe? It's difficult to remember. All I do know is that Shadowspear was in stores on the 16th of the 3rd. That is when the Warhammer community article went up saying, hey, it's available in stores now. It was the 16th of last month, which puts Shadowspear at a distinctly not long-lived, well, less than a month to be out of the first run and to be accepting what essentially are final orders for the second run. At that point, it's gone. You could pre-order Shadowspear on the 9th, which, so that makes, that's about right. So, Shadowspear has not lasted a long time in the grand scheme of these boxes. In fact, it's vanished pretty damn quick. Now, of course, a big part of that will be the fact that we now have so much of the Chaos stuff available, either for pre-order or just outright for sale. This very much was a box that was designed to essentially sell the Chaos, not rework, that's not fair, but the Chaos update. And it's worked incredibly well, because no matter where I go or who I speak to, all I see are people painting, usually the Chaos side of Shadowspear. So it's obviously worked incredibly well, but it is a little bit disheartening, a little bit frustrating that the box itself just has had no longevity whatsoever. It very much feels as though this was a vehicle with which to deliver the Chaos update, and once all the stuff in the box and once all the Chaos stuff is up and ready to go and it's available separately, it's just going to disappear straight off the bat. Now, as I say, I cannot remember how long Tooth and Claw or Wake the Dead were available for. Wake the Dead was not very long at all, I seem to remember. Tooth and Claw had a bit of a longer life, I think. None of them are on the same on the same level as like Forgebane, and none of those are really on the same level as, for instance, like the Burning of Prospero or Betrayal at Calth. Both of those boxes were I mean, they had a good lifespan before they were got rid of. It might be now that Games Workshop is essentially moving towards a slightly different model when it comes to these boxes. I mean, when they got rid of a bunch of them, we kind of speculated as to what this could mean, as to whether there would be, a bunch of new boxes, whether there would be a load of new stuff coming out, whether we'd see a kind of increase in these large sets, whether they bring them out more regularly, but then cut down on how long they were out. It looks like they are cutting down how long they're available for by a fair amount, if the discontinued thing is accurate, which, to be honest, I'm taking this as being accurate because I'm going to go ahead and suggest and assume that a third-party retailer that deals in Games Workshop's products doesn't want to just outright lie about the products they're selling. That would not go well for them, I imagine. And so if they say, once the second print run is sold out, the set will be discontinued, I'm placing faith in the fact that will be something that Games Workshop has told them. Once you've had this, that's it, it's gone. If this is a sign of things to come, then it looks like we will be getting box sets that have more in the way of kind of new models in them, but for nowhere near as long. That they will be the starting point for new releases that will... I mean, I'm only extrapolating this from this particular release. It might be that actually we get more in the way of old style stuff like Tooth and Claw and Wake the Dead and Forgebane, where they last a little bit longer and it's not all just new models. But in terms of effective selling points, Shadowspear seems to have worked pretty damn well. I mean, it's a bunch of new Chaos stuff, a bunch of new Primaris stuff. The Chaos stuff is now available separately, and Shadowspear makes its exit having made a big impact when it landed. It got a bunch of people involved in either of those armies. Now, the ability to expand those armies is vastly increased because you can get all of the stuff in it separately for obviously much higher cost, of course, and Shadowspear is gone, so you can't expand that way. It does work, it's a smart and sensible way to do it, but it is undoubtedly a little bit unfortunate because it's not been around very long, and there will be those who have not had chance to get their hands on it, and it does make me think that it's something that we could see more of. Box sets that just have a very short but very highly publicised lifespan that essentially are just lead-ins to bigger releases. That's kind of what this feels like. So, yeah, if you want to get Shadowspear, I suggest you get on it right now because it's not going to be around for much longer. And I'd be interested to hear what you think as to the chance of them doing this more often, whether we start to see more boxes like Shadowspear that have more new stuff but don't last as long, and it's just basically delivery vehicles for wider releases. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things, Patreon video, subscribe, all that shit. Click it if you like, don't click it if you don't want to, and I will see you for the next one. Toodaloo.